In every war, behind the sound of strategy and the noise of politics, there are the silent stories of ordinary people. When the first signs of conflict appear before the maps are drawn or the headlines are written, it's the civilians who feel history arriving at their doorstep. This documentary explores the psychology of fear and hope, how human beings process uncertainty, and why people can experience the same moment in completely different ways. Some see survival, others see opportunity. Some look at the horizon and pray for peace, others simply prepare for change. It is one of the oldest patterns in human history. When nations go to war, the most human reactions come from those who never wanted it. Across centuries, this emotional divide has repeated itself, from ancient empires to modern cities. In every region touched by conflict, ordinary people have balanced two emotions that rarely coexist: fear and hope. Fear for their families, their future, and their safety. Hope that maybe, after the storm, something better could begin. History shows that even in the darkest times, hope is not erased, it adapts. It becomes smaller, more fragile, but it keeps people alive. Psychologists describe this state as anticipatory survival mode. People try to make sense of chaos by turning to routine, opening their shop, sending children to school, fixing broken doors. These acts are not denial, they are courage disguised as normal life. During the first days of any war, the world seems to slow down, and people begin to observe each other differently. The old neighbor becomes a protector, the local teacher becomes a community leader, and the baker's small bread shop becomes a center of resilience. Why do people still hope when the world around them collapses? The answer lies in human nature. Our brains are wired to seek meaning and predict the future. When nothing seems predictable, the mind looks for emotional balance through belief, faith in survival, in destiny, or simply in the next sunrise. Anthropologists call this the hope mechanism, a natural defense that transforms uncertainty into endurance. It's the same mechanism that allowed civilizations to rebuild after disasters, earthquakes, and wars. But fear also plays a powerful role. Fear is not only terror's information. It sharpens instincts, forces quick decisions, and teaches adaptation. In many historical accounts, fear led civilians to migrate, innovate, or find unexpected unity. When people are afraid together, they rediscover connection. The shared fear of losing everything often creates a sense of belonging, stronger than any political alliance. In that sense, fear and hope are not enemies, they are survival partners. History's geography teaches us this again and again. Afghanistan, often described as the graveyard of empires, is not just a place of battles, it's a case study in resilience. For thousands of years, its people adapted to the world's greatest armies, not by conquering them, but by enduring them. Mountain villages rebuilt after invasions, families passed on traditions even when borders changed, and ordinary citizens kept hope alive through storytelling, music, and education. This is not the story of defeat. It's the story of endurance. When global powers misunderstood this human strength, they misread history itself. They thought geography alone defined resistance, but it was the people. Empires came and left. What remained was the ability to adapt, survive, and rebuild. The psychology of resilience explains how societies that endure centuries of conflict still find space for laughter, weddings, and festivals. Because humans are not designed only to survive, they are designed to remember, rebuild, and imagine a future even inside ruins. Educationally, this pattern matters. Historians and psychologists agree that studying civilian reactions during wars reveals more about humanity than studying military tactics. Each person's story becomes a data point in the global psychology of resilience. From London during World War II to small villages across Asia, the same emotional formula appears. Fear, then adaptation, then recovery. In London's Blitz, families slept underground and shared stories to distract children from bomb sounds. In other parts of the world, people used humor or art as shields against fear. These are not small gestures, they are the emotional blueprints of human survival. In modern conflict zones, researchers have recorded similar reactions. When danger becomes routine, hope becomes discipline. Communities organize informal schools. Musicians record songs of unity. And even during curfews, people create local markets to exchange essentials. Sociologists call this micro-resilience, small, consistent acts that prevent emotional collapse. It's not heroic in the cinematic sense, but it's profoundly human. Understanding this balance between fear and hope helps educators, historians, and psychologists teach empathy. It reminds us that every news headline hides thousands of invisible emotional journeys. For teachers, explaining the impact of war, focusing on the human side transforms abstract history into relatable reality. Students learn not just who won or lost, but how ordinary people survive the unthinkable. From an academic point of view, these patterns are part of the global study of trauma and post-conflict growth. Scientists discover that communities who experience hardship often emerge with stronger social bonds and clearer values. It's called resilient reconstruction, a process where loss becomes a lesson and destruction becomes direction. For example, many post-war societies invested heavily in education, healthcare, and cultural preservation, precisely because they had seen what life without them felt like. This is progress born from reflection, not from victory. However, not every story ends in strength. Some people lose faith, some carry invisible wounds for life. History must honor both the courage and the cost. By studying these dual realities, future generations can understand that peace is not simply the absence of war. It's the presence of stability, empathy, and respect for human life. Every major civilization that faced prolonged conflict learned eventually that war transformed civilians far more than soldiers. Soldiers fight to complete missions. Civilians fight to keep life recognizable. The sound of rebuilding a home is often louder than the echo of a gunshot. The moment a mother plants flowers outside a damaged house, or a teacher opens a classroom again, history quietly shifts from destruction to recovery. And yet, the cycle continues. New generations grow up reading about the same mistakes, leaders predicting quick wars, powers underestimating endurance, and societies rediscovering hope. This documentary is an invitation to break that pattern through understanding. It's not about sides, it's about seeing the shared human experience beneath every headline. Imagine if history was taught not through the rise and fall of armies, but through the stories of families who kept living. The child who studied by candlelight, the artist who painted amid rubble, the doctor who treated both friend and stranger. These are the true architects of civilization. They remind us that humanity's greatest achievement is not invention, it's resilience. Today, psychologists studying the emotional timeline of conflict have identified stages that mirror grief, denial, fear, adaptation, and eventually, purpose. Hope does not erase fear. It transforms it. The same emotional chemistry that once produced anxiety becomes fuel for determination. This is why, even after long wars, societies eventually rebuild faster than predicted. They remember how to live before they remember how to fight. Geographically, places that were once battlefields often become centers of trade, culture, and innovation. The soil that witnessed destruction becomes fertile, again both literally and symbolically. From the ruins of ancient cities rose new languages, art forms, and philosophies. Humanity's story, therefore, is not defined by how many wars it fought, but by how many times it healed. The phrase, the graveyard of empires, may sound dark, but it hides a deeper truth. It is also the birthplace of resilience. Empires fall, but people remain. Their culture, memory, and faith carry the silent proof that survival is stronger than conquest. As we close this educational journey, remember that every historical conflict teaches two lessons: the cost of misunderstanding and the value of endurance. The next time you read about any war, look beyond the strategy. Listen for the small voices of courage that history often overlooks. They belong to the ordinary people who felt fear, found hope, and continued to live. If history is a mirror, then understanding civilian experience is the reflection that brings clarity. It shows us that the human spirit, though fragile, is endlessly renewable. Wars end. Empires collapse, but the heartbeat of resilience continues. This is not a story of loss, it is a study of strength, a reminder that even in times of fear, humanity's greatest victory is the courage to keep hoping.